I knew something was wrong the second the tree line shifted, but the wind wasn't blowing at all. I was hunting alone that day. Early morning, just before sunrise, the kind of cold that sits inside your bones. It makes your fingers stiff. It slows your breathing. Everything feels heavier. I parked my truck near an old dirt trail. Same place I've used for years. No signal out there. Never is. I've hunted that land since I was a kid. I know every turn, every tree. Or at least I thought I did. Everything felt normal at first. Birds were calling. Leaves were still. No movement, just quiet forest breathing. That steady rhythm you get used to, the kind that makes you feel like nothing can go wrong. I walked about half a mile in. Boots pressing softly into the dirt, each step familiar. I didn't rush. There's no reason to rush when you know the land. I reached a clearing I've used many times. Good idea passed through there early. I set myself near a tree. Back against it, rifle resting steady. I remember checking my watch. 6:12 a.m. Still dim. That soft blue light before sunrise. That's when it went quiet. Not normal quiet. Wrong quiet. No birds. No insects. Nothing. Even the air felt still. Like it stopped moving. I stayed still. Finger near the trigger. Waiting. Listening. Minutes passed. Maybe 5. Maybe more. Hard to tell. Then I saw it. The tree line ahead. It shifted slightly, not like wind. Like something behind it moved. But there was no gap. No space. Just trees. Packed tightly. I blinked a few times. Tried to focus. Maybe it was just the light. I've seen strange things before in the woods. Shadows that weren't really there, so I told myself it was nothing. Then it happened again. This time, slower. Like the trees, leaned forward, hoosed a little. I felt my grip tighten on the rifle. My heart started beating harder. I raised it slightly. Not aiming yet. Just ready. "Hello," I called. My voice sounded wrong. Too loud in the silence. Nothing answered, not even an echo. I waited. 5 minutes. Maybe more. Still nothing. Then, I heard it. A step. Behind me. Soft. But clear. I turned instantly. Nothing there. Just forest. Exactly how it should be. Trees. Dirt. Fallen leaves, no one. No animal. But I felt it. That feeling when someone is watching. You don't see them. But you know, I moved positions slowly. Careful not to make noise. I pressed my back against a tree. Needed something solid behind me. I scanned everything. Left. Right. Ahead. Nothing. Then I noticed something. The tree line ahead. It was closer. Hoosed a little. I froze. I was sure. It had been farther before. I know distances. I've hunted long enough. You learn to measure space without thinking. That line of trees. It wasn't where it should be. Primera redat. It trying to understand. Then another step. Closer this time. Behind me again. I spun around. Still nothing, no. Footprint. No sound after that step. Just silence again. I turned back forward. Slowly. The tree line was closer. Much closer now. Not possible. I took a step back. Then another. My breathing was getting uneven. Something wasn't right. I looked around again. Everything behind me looked normal. But ahead, the space felt smaller, like it was closing. I stepped back again, and that's when I noticed something worse. The trees on my left. They looked closer too. Not just ahead, all around. I turned slowly. Every direction felt tighter, like the clearing was shrinking. I tried to stay calm, tried to think logically. Maybe I moved without realizing. Maybe I lost track of position. But that didn't explain the steps, didn't explain the silence, didn't explain that feeling. Then I heard it again. Breathing. Not mine. Slow. Heavy. Close. Too close. Right behind me. I didn't turn this time. I couldn't. I just stood there. Frozen. The breathing stayed. Steady. Patient. Like it was waiting. Then it stopped. Completely. The silence came back. Heavier than before. I turned slowly. Nothing there. But the trees behind me. They were closer now, too. I realized something then. Something cold. It wasn't just the tree line ahead. It was everything. It wasn't moving forward. It was surrounding me. The clearing wasn't shrinking. It was being closed. I looked closer. Between the trees. There were shapes, not clear. Not solid. But something. Something. Standing. Blending with the trunks. Too still. Too tall. Watching, I felt my chest tighten. My grip on the rifle slipped slightly. I didn't want to see it clearer. But I couldn't stop looking. One of the shapes shifted. Just slightly. Not stepping. Not walking. Just adjusting. Like it was alive. But not fully there. I heard the breathing again. This time on my left. Then on my right, Tenbainime. It wasn't one thing. There were many. I took a step back. There was nowhere to go. Every direction looked wrong. Every direction felt closer. I tried to raise my rifle, but I didn't know where to aim. There was no clear target. Just shapes. Everywhere. Watching. Waiting. Then I heard something else. A step. In front of me this time, but nothing moved. No leaves. No branches. Just the sound. Then another. And another. Coming closer, but I couldn't see anything. My vision felt tight, like I was focusing too hard. Then one of the shapes separated slightly from the trees. Just enough to see. It wasn't a person, but it wasn't nothing either. Too long. Too long. Too still. Its outline kept shifting, like it didn't want to be seen clearly. I stepped back again. My heel caught something. I almost fell. I realized I had moved far from where I started, without noticing. The clearing was gone, or maybe it was never there. The trees were close now. Too close. I could almost touch them, but I didn't want to. Because I knew they weren't just trees. I heard something near my ear. A whisper, too quiet to understand bat. He felt it. Warm breath. Right beside me. That's when I broke. I ran. I didn't care where. Just away. Branches hit my arms. Leaves snapped under my feet. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. Not once, but I could hear it. Not footsteps. Not chasing. Just there, keeping pace. Close. Always close. The trees around me blurred. Everything looked the same. I thought I was going in circles, but then I saw it. My truck. Right where I left it. I don't know how I got there. I don't remember the path. I just reached it. I pulled the door open. Compass in sight. Locked it instantly. My hands were shaking. I sat there, breathing hard, trying to calm down. For a second, everything was quiet again. Normal, quiet. I looked out the window. Nothing moved. Just trees. Still. Silent. I told myself it was over. That I made it out. Then, slowly, The trees near the road, they leaned toward the truck. I only brought one rifle, so I don't know why there were two. It was supposed to be a simple trip. Just me and my cousin. Deep forest, 2-day hunt. Nothing unusual. We've done this before, many times. We drove out early, reached the trail just after sunrise. The air was cold, but normal. That quiet forest feeling, calm. Predictable. We set up a small base near the edge. Dropped our gear, checked everything twice. Food, water, ammo, radios, didn't work out. Their day. Never do. Around noon, we split up. Like always, cover more ground that way. We agreed to meet back before sunset. Same spot, same routine. He went east. I went west. At first, everything felt fine. I walked slow, careful, watching the ground, looking for signs. I even spotted deer tracks, fresh ones, clear prints in the soil. Heading deeper in, I followed them for a while. Not too far, just enough to stay aware. Time passed normally. Nothing strange. I remember checking the sky. The light was starting to fade. Around 4 p.m., I started heading back. That's when I saw it, a rifle, leaning against a tree. I stopped immediately. Something about it felt wrong. I stared at it for a few seconds, trying to process. Then I stepped closer. Slowly. It looked exactly like mine. Same scratches along the side. Same worn strap. Same small dent near the barrel. I knew that dent. I made it myself. I checked my hands. My rifle was still there. Firm. Solid. Exactly where it should be. I let out a small laugh. Nervous. Confused. Thought maybe my cousin had the same one. It wasn't impossible. Same brand. Same model. But something felt off. I couldn't explain it. I walked closer. Careful with each step. That's when I noticed there were no footprints around it. No signs anyone had been there. Just the rifle. Placed perfectly. Upright. Like it had been set there. Carefully. Waiting. I looked around. Nothing moved. No sound. No birds. Just silence. I felt that pressure in my chest. I didn't touch it. I didn't want to. Something about it felt wrong. I backed away slowly, keeping my eyes on it. Then I heard something. A voice. Behind me. Don't leave it. I froze. The voice was low. Calm. And familiar. 2. Familiar. It sounded like me. Exactly like me. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. Don't leave it. It said again. Closer now. Right behind me. I felt my back tense. My grip tightened on the rifle. I started walking. Slowly at first, then faster. Trying to get away. The voice followed. Take it. Pause. Take it. Again. Take it. Same words. Over and over. No change. No emotion. I didn't look back. Not once. I focused ahead. On getting back. On reaching the meeting point. The trees started to look the same. Too similar. He felt like Edie. Been walking longer than I should. But then I saw it. The clearing. Relief hit me for a second, but my cousin wasn't there. No gear. No movement. Nothing. Just empty ground. Then I saw something else. Another rifle, leaning against a rock. Same position. Same angle. Same everything. Primera looked at it, then down at mine. Still in my hands. Same scratches. Same strap. Identical. Perfectly identical. I looked around. Still no sign of my cousin. No sound. No movement. The forest felt empty. Drawn empty. Then I noticed something. The first rifle, the one I saw earlier. It was gone, but it wasn't there anymore. I felt something shift behind me. Not a sound, not a step, just presence. I looked down at my rifle again, still in my hands. Then I understood. Slowly, cold realization. There were now 3. I didn't need to turn around. I already knew. One of them was behind me. I could feel it. Not the rifle, something holding it. Standing just out of sight. Breathing like me, waiting for me to turn. But I didn't. I just stood there, holding mine, while the others waited. Someone was already in my stand, but I watched him climb into it. I reached my tree stand before sunrise. Same one I always use. Same path. Same routine. Nothing ever changes out there. That's why I like it. It's old. Wooden. About 15 feet up. I built it myself years ago. Reinforced it twice. I know every board, every creak. The air was cold that morning. Not extreme, just enough to sting your fingers. The forest was quiet, but normal. Birds were still calling, leaves barely moving. I remember thinking it would be a good day. I started climbing. Slow and steady. Like always. One hand, one step. Halfway up, I stopped. I heard movement above me. Slow, careful shifting wood pressing. Slight weight adjusting. I froze, listened. It happened again. Not loud, but clear. Something was in the stand. I looked up. Slowly, someone was sitting there. Perfectly still. Facing away from me. I couldn't see their face. Just the back. Dark. Jacket. Head slightly tilted forward. I felt a quick rush of irritation. Another hunter. It happens sometimes. People take stands if they find them empty. Still, it didn't feel right. Most hunters would say something. Mob. React. This one didn't. Hey! I said. Quietly. No response. No movement. Not even a shift in posture. I stayed there. Halfway up, waiting. Nothing. I didn't want trouble. Didn't want to argue, so I climbed down slowly. Careful not to make too much noise. Primera Basket Hawaii, keeping my eyes on the stand. The person didn't move, didn't even breathe. That's what stood out. No movement at all. No rise or fall. Just still. I stepped farther back, then turned, and walked deeper into the woods. Found another spot, not as good, but it would do. I sat there for hours, trying to focus, trying to forget it. But I kept thinking about it, that stillness. The way he didn't react. Even when I spoke, even when I moved. It didn't feel like someone resting. It felt like something waiting. Time passed, slowly. The light changed. Morning turned to noon. Birds came and went. Everything felt normal again. Around noon, I decided to head back to check, make sure the stand was empty. As I got closer, Primera slowed down. My steps got quieter. I didn't know why. I just didn't want to make noise. I looked up again. The stand was empty. No one there. I stared for a few seconds, making sure. Nothing. I felt relief. Maybe they left. Maybe it was just another hunter passing through. I walked closer, still watching, still nothing. Everything looked normal, exactly how I left it. I hesitated for a moment, then decided to climb again, step by step. Same rhythm, same grip. Halfway up, I stopped. Something caught my eye. Right in front of me. On the wood, there was something carved into it, fresh. The cuts were clean, sharp, like it had just been done, right at eye level. I leaned in slightly, tried to read it. It said, "You were still below me." I felt cold instantly, like the air dropped around me. Because I hadn't climbed yet. When I first saw him, I was still below, looking up. He couldn't have known that. Not from that position. Not without seeing me first. And even then, he hadn't moved, hadn't spoken, hadn't reacted. My hand tightened on the ladder. I stayed frozen, staring at the carving. Then I felt it again. That feeling. Someone watching, close, above me. I didn't want to look up, but I did. Slowly. And this time, someone was sitting there again, facing Manau. I froze completely. It wasn't the same as before. Or maybe it was, but now I could see more. The shape was wrong. Too straight. Like it wasn't made of muscle. Just outline. Dark, flat. Its face. I couldn't see it clearly. It didn't have detail, just a darker space where a face should be. It didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't move. It just stared. Directly at me. I felt my chest tighten. My arms went numb. I couldn't climb, couldn't go down. I was stuck there. Halfway. Between it and the ground. Then it tilted its head. Slow. Unnatural. Too smooth. Like it wasn't using muscles. Just shifting. I heard something then. A whisper. Low. Close. But his mouth didn't move. I never left. The voice didn't echo. Didn't travel. It felt like it came from inside my head. I couldn't breathe for a second. Everything felt tight. The air. The space. I looked down quickly. The ground felt too far. But I needed to move. I started climbing down. Fast. My boots slipping slightly. Hands shaking. I didn't look up again. Not once. I reached the ground, stepped back. Then back again. My eyes stayed on the stand. It didn't move. Still, sitting there. Watching. Then, slowly, it leaned forward. Just slightly, like it was getting closer. But it never left the stand. I turned and walked away. Fast. Not running, but close. I didn't stop until the stand was out of sight. Even then, I kept going, deeper, further than I planned. The forest started to feel different, too quiet again. Too still. I checked the time, but I don't remember what it said. I just remember thinking I had been there longer than I should. I started heading back toward my truck. Or at least, I thought I was. The trees started to look unfamiliar. Paths didn't line up. Nothing felt right. I walked faster, trying to recognize something. Anything. Then I saw it. A tree. With a mark on it. A cut. Fresh. I stepped closer. My stomach dropped. It was my mark. I always mark trees near my stand. Small cuts. Easy to spot. That tree shouldn't have been there. Not that far out. Not in that direction. I looked around. And then I saw it. Through the trees. My stand. Right there. Closer than it should be. Facing me. Exactly where I didn't leave it. I hadn't walked in a circle. I hadn't turned around. But I was back. Right in front of it. I looked up. Slowly. And it was still there. Sitting. Waiting. Like it knew I'd come back. I shot it clean, but nothing came out. It was late evening, light fading fast. That last stretch before dark, where everything looks softer, quieter, almost calm. I had been out there for hours, walking slow, tracking signs. Not much luck that day. The forest felt normal though. Birds still calling, wind moving lightly through the leaves. Nothing unusual. I remember thinking about heading back soon. Didn't want to be out there after dark. Not alone. That's when I saw movement, near a bush. About 30 yards ahead. It looked like a deer. Low movement. Slow. Natural. I raised my rifle. Took a steady breath. Lined up the shot. Everything felt routine. Familiar. I fired. The sound cracked through the trees. Loud. Sharp. The animal dropped instantly. Didn't run. Didn't react. Just collapsed. Perfect hit. I stayed still for a moment. Standard practice. Wait. Make sure it's done. The forest went quiet for a few seconds. Then, slowly, sounds started coming back. Birds. Wind. Distant rustling. I lowered my rifle. Started walking toward it. Slow. Careful. Watching for any movement. That's when it felt wrong. To still, even for a dead animal, there's usually something. A twitch. A breath. A final movement. This one had nothing. No motion at all. I got closer, about 10 feet away. I stopped. Looked at it properly. It looked like a deer. Mostly. Same shape. Same size. But something about it felt off. I couldn't explain it at first. Then I noticed the legs. They were slightly off. Longer than normal. Just enough to feel wrong, like they didn't match the body. I stepped closer. Slowly, my grip tightened on the rifle. Just in case. I circled slightly, trying to get a better look. The head was facing away, body stretched out unnaturally straight. I crouched down. Still watching, nothing did. I reached out carefully, touched the fur. Cold, but not natural cold. Not like an animal. It felt hard, like touching metal. I pulled my hand back slightly, confused. Then I leaned in, checked the wound. There was a hole, exactly where I hit. Clean, precise, but no blood. None. Not even a drop. No stain, no spread. Nothing. Just an empty hole. I stared at it, trying to understand. That's not possible. Even a bad shot bleeds. This was perfect. There should have been something. I touched near the wound. Still nothing. Dry. Completely dry. That's when I felt it. That same pressure, that feeling when something isn't right. The forest around me felt quieter, not silent, but distant. Like everything moved away slightly. I looked at the animal again, and then its eye moved, just slightly. I froze. My hand stopped midair. My breath caught. It was supposed to be dead. I stared at its face, waiting, hoping I imagined it. Then its eye rolled. Slow, controlled, turning toward me, looking directly at me. I felt my chest tighten instantly. My body locked in place. It shouldn't be moving. Then it blinked. One slow, deliberate. I stepped back. my boots scraping lightly against the ground. The sound felt too loud, too sharp. The animal didn't react. It just stared, its eye fixed on me, unblinking again. Then it started to move. Slowly, its legs shifted, not like a wounded animal. No struggle, no shaking, just movement. Controlled, smooth, like it was never injured. It stood up, slow, steady, no hesitation, no pain. Just stood, facing slightly away. Then turning, its body moved wrong. Too fluid, too quiet. The hole was still there. In its side, empty, clean. No blood, no damage. Just a gap, like nothing had ever been inside. It turned its head toward me. Too far, further than it should, until it was looking straight at me. I couldn't move, I couldn't think. I just stared. It didn't blink, didn't breathe, didn't make a sound. Then it took a step toward me. No sound, no weight in the movement. Just shifting closer. I raised my rifle, hands shaking now. I didn't aim properly, I just pointed it. It didn't react, didn't stop, just kept standing there, watching. Then I noticed something worse. Its body, it wasn't quite solid, not fully, like the edges were. Both not clear, like it didn't fully belong there. I stepped back again. My foot caught a branch. It snapped loudly. The thing tilted its head. Slow. Unnatural. Watching me, studying. I felt something cold run through me. Not fear. Something deeper. Like my body understood before my mind did. This wasn't an animal. It never was. It took another step, closer. Still silent. Still staring. And I realized it wasn't reacting to me. It wasn't curious. It wasn't scared. It was aware, like it had been waiting for me to get close. For me to see it, I lowered the rifle slightly. Not on purpose. My arms just felt weak. Then it stopped moving, right where it stood, just watching. Then, slowly, it turned its body, facing away from me again, like it lost interest, or finished something. It took a step, then another, walking back toward the bush. Same slow, silent movement, like nothing had happened, like it had never been shot. I stood there, frozen, watching it go. It didn't run, didn't rush, just walked. Then it reached the bush, and stepped into it, and disappeared. No sound, no movement after. Just gone. I waited. I don't know how long. Minutes, maybe more. My body wouldn't move. My mind felt empty. Then slowly, I backed away, step by step, keeping my eyes on that spot. Nothing came out again. No movement. No sound. The forest felt normal again. Birds, wind, distant noise, like nothing had happened. But I knew something had. I turned and walked back, faster than before. I didn't run, but I didn't stop either. I reached my truck just as it got dark, hands shaking as I opened the door. I got inside, locked it, sat there for a moment, trying to steady my breathing, trying to think. I looked down at my rifle. Still warm, still real. Then I noticed something near the barrel. A small smear, dark. I leaned closer. It wasn't blood. It looked like nothing, like the color didn't exist properly. and as I watched, it slowly faded until there was nothing there at all. I returned to the woods the next day, though every instinct told me to stay away. The spot was exactly as I left it, the trampled grass, the snapped branch, but no sign of the creature. I stayed there until the light began to fade again, feeling that same heavy silence press in on me. I realized then that some things aren't meant to be hunted, and some shadows in the forest are older and stranger than we can ever comprehend. I haven't picked up my rifle since. My radio answered, but no one else was out there. I always carry a radio for backup safety, even when I know it won't work. It's just habit. Something to hold on to when you're alone that deep. There was no signal that day. Not unusual. That area is dead. Always has been. No towers. No connection. Just static, if you're lucky. I was heading back toward my truck when it started. Late evening, just before dark. That time when the forest starts to feel different, like everything is slowly pulling away. The light was fading fast. Shadows stretching longer, blending together. I remember thinking I pushed it too late. Should have turned back earlier. That's when I heard it. A faint crackle. Static coming from my radio. I stopped walking immediately. Looked down at it. The screen was dead, like always, but the speaker was still hissing softly. I frowned. Tapped it once. Usually that kills the noise, but it didn't stop. It got clearer. Then a voice. Faint. Broken. It said, "You there." I froze. My grip tightened around the radio. That shouldn't happen. There was no one else out there. No one close enough. I brought it closer to my mouth. "Yeah, I'm here," I said. My voice felt small. Like it didn't carry. Silence. The static faded slightly, then came back again. "Turn around." I frowned and looked around slowly. Nothing. Just trees. Dark shapes now, blending into each other. "No one's out here but me," I said. My voice sounded tighter now. The radio stayed quiet for a second. Then the voice came back, clear. This time, no. My chest tightened. That wasn't broken anymore. That was steady. Close. Too close. "Who is this?" I asked. No answer, just breathing. Slow, heavy, coming through the speaker. Not distorted. Not distant. Like someone was right next to the mic. I held the radio away slightly. My hands started to shake. "Then don't move." I stopped completely, every muscle locked. Heart racing. I didn't even breathe for a second. The forest felt wrong again. Too quiet, too still. Then I heard it behind me. Leaves crunching, slow steps. Careful. Measured. One. Pause. Another. I stared straight ahead, didn't turn. Couldn't. My throat felt dry, my grip tightened around the radio. The steps got closer. Still slow. Still controlled, like whoever it was. "Didn't. They want Taurus," I whispered into the radio. "Where are you?" My voice barely came out. The answer came immediately. No static. No delay. "Right behind you." He felt it then, that presence close. So close. I could feel the air shift slightly, like someone standing just inches away. Breathing. I didn't turn. I couldn't. My body wouldn't let me. The radio stayed quiet. But the breathing didn't stop. I could hear it behind me now, not through the speaker. Real. Soft. Slow. Right at the back of my neck, I shut my eyes for a second. Tried to think. Tried to move, nothing worked. Then the radio crackled again. Loud, this time sharp. It made me flinch. Then the voice came back. "Good." I swallowed slowly. My legs felt weak, like they might give out. The breathing behind me stopped. Instantly. Just gone. No sound, no movement, nothing. I opened my eyes, still staring forward, still not turning. The forests in front of me looked darker now, shadows thicker, harder to see through. Then I heard it again, but this time, in front of May leaves, crunching. Same slow steps, same pattern. Coming closer, I felt my chest tighten again. That didn't make sense. It couldn't be both. I forced myself to move, slightly. Turned my head a little. Not fully, just enough to see the ground. Nothing there. No feet. No movement. But the sound continued. Closer. Closer. Then the radio spoke again. Don't turn. My hand shook harder now. I stared straight ahead again. The steps in front stopped. Complete silence. Then I felt something behind me again. Closer than before. So close, I could feel warmth. Breath, right near my ear. Then it whispered, not through the radio. Not from the forest. Directly behind me. You already did. My body went cold instantly. Because I hadn't turned around. Not fully. Not enough to see anything. But it knew. It knew exactly how much I moved. Then the radio fell silent. Completely. No static, no voice. Nothing. The forest slowly filled with sound again. Wind, leaves, distant birds. Like everything returned, like nothing had happened. I stayed there for a few seconds. Still not turning, still afraid to move. Then slowly, I stepped forward. One step. Then another. The ground felt normal. Solid. Real. I kept walking. Faster now. Not running, but close. I didn't stop. Didn't look back. Not on say. I reached my truck just as it got dark. Opened the door. Got inside. Locked it immediately. My hands were shaking. I placed the radio in the passenger seat. Just stared at it. Waiting. Hoping it would stay silent. For a few seconds it did. Then, softly, the speaker crackled, and I heard my own voice from earlier. Yeah, I'm here. Followed by breathing, not mine, right next to the mic. I walked straight, but I kept ending up behind myself. I marked trees as I went. Small cuts with my knife. Simple trick. Never get lost. I've used it for years. It always works. That day felt normal at first. Midday. Light coming clean through the trees. Nothing unusual. No strange sounds. No bad feeling. I wasn't even that deep in. Maybe a mile. I remember thinking I'd head a little farther. Then circle back, so I started marking trees. One cut. Clean. Easy to spot. Then I walked. Steady pace. No rush. After a while, I stopped. Looked around. Checked direction. Everything felt fine. I kept going. Another 10 minutes. Maybe more. Then I saw it. A mark. On a tree. Same cut. Same height. I frowned. Walked closer. Ran my fingers over it. It was fresh. Exactly like mine. I looked around. Trying to figure it out. Maybe I turned without noticing. Maybe I circled slightly. It happens sometimes, so... Primerad Husted. Picked a new direction. Made another cut. Then kept walking. A little faster now. Paying more attention. Watching the ground. The trees. Everything. A few minutes later, another mark. Same one. Same height. Same cut. I stopped again. This time longer, my chest tightened slightly. That didn't make sense. Not twice. Not like that. I turned slowly. Looked behind me. Nothing. Just trees. All the same. No path. No trail. Just forest. I checked the sun. Something felt off. Not wrong. Just off. Like things didn't line up properly. I shook it off. Told myself to stay calm. Picked another direction. Marked again and kept walking. Faster now. Not running. But close. I wanted to get out of that area. Then I saw another mark. Same one. Then another. And another. They were getting closer together. Like the forest was tightening. I stopped. Breathing heavier now. I looked around carefully. Every direction looked the same. Too similar. Like copies. I turned slowly in a circle. Nothing stood out. No landmarks. No differences. Just repetition. Then I noticed something ahead. Movement. I froze. Focused. There was someone walking, about 30 feet ahead. Back turned. Moving slowly. Same pace as me. I felt a small sense of relief. Another person. Maybe I wasn't alone. Hey. I tried to call out, but no sound came. My mouth moved, but nothing left it. No voice. No echo. Just silence. I felt my chest tighten. My throat felt dry. I tried again. Nothing. The person kept walking. Same steady pace. I took a step forward, then another. Trying to get closer. Trying to see clearly. That's when I noticed. The clothes. The jacket. The way he held the rifle. My grip tightened. It looked familiar. Too familiar. I moved a little faster. Closing the distance. Then I saw it clearly. It was me. Same clothes. Same rifle. Same movement. Same slight tilt of the head when walking. I stopped immediately. My body went cold. He didn't. He kept walking. Steady.com. Like nothing was wrong. I stared, trying to understand. Trying to think. But nothing made sense. I looked down at myself. My hands. My jacket. Everything matched perfectly. I looked back up. He was still there. Still walking. Still leading. That's when I realized something. I wasn't following him. He was leading me. Every step I took. I took first. Every movement, I repeated. I felt it. Like I was copying him, without choosing to. I tried to stop moving. Forced my feet to stay still. For a second, it worked. But then, I took another step, without meaning to, matching him. Exactly. My breathing got heavier. My hands started shaking. I tried to turn away, but my eyes stayed locked on him. Like I couldn't look away. Then, he stopped. Just like that. No warning. No sound. Slowly, he turned. The movement felt wrong. Too smooth. Too controlled. Like it wasn't natural. He turned all the way around. Facing me now, I finally saw his face. My face. But something was off. The eyes. Too still. Too empty. Like they weren't looking at me. Just through me. Then he smiled. Slow. Wide. A smile I've never made before. Too stretched. Too deliberate. It didn't feel human. I felt something drop in my chest. Because I knew that wasn't me. Not really. He tilted his head slightly. Still smiling. Still staring. Then he took a step forward, and I felt my body move back. Without choosing to. Matching him. Opposite. Like a mirror. But wrong. He took another step. Closer now. And I stepped back again. My breathing was uneven. My hands barely steady. I tried to raise my rifle. but my arms felt slow, heavy. He didn't raise his, he just kept smiling. Then he stopped again, just a few steps away now, close enough to see every detail. And none of it felt right. Then he spoke. But his mouth barely moved, and I didn't hear it with my ears. I felt it. Inside my head. You made it this far. My chest tightened hard. I tried to move, tried to step away, but my legs wouldn't respond. He took one final step closer, now standing right in front of me. Close enough to touch. The smile didn't change. It stayed, locked in place. Then, slowly, he leaned forward, and I felt myself lean too, without meaning to. Like something was pulling me. Matching him, every movement. Perfectly, and right before our faces were inches apart, I realized something worse. He wasn't copying me. I had been copying him the entire time.